This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires, right on our strength, and by Grunt Style. Now, with all the news from NASCAR touring, local and international series racing, here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
First-time winners is the theme of the weekend in NASCAR short track racing. Two new winners in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East to South Boston Speedway, and a new modified winner at the famed Madhouse at Bowman Gray Stadium in North Carolina. Welcome to NASCAR Coast to Coast for Wednesday, May 16th, 2018. Kyle Rickey joined by Hannah Newhouse. And Hannah, it's always fun to talk with new winners in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East. And we're beginning to see kind of a changing of the guard in that series, as was evident this past weekend at the South Boston Speedway in Virginia. Not one, but two new winners on the entry list, or on the in victory lane.
Yes, it was. We still managed to see a little bit of a David Gill and Crosley Racing dominance, though, as Tyler Ankrum captured his first win, where he also still has the points lead in Anthony Alfredo. He had a really rough start to his season at New Smyrna, a bad wreck at Bristol, but he was a runner-up the previous race, and he finally found his way to victory lane at South Boston Speedway. So hopefully this trend continues. I think we'll see some more new winners in the K&N Pro Series, but awesome to see two new winners last weekend at South Boston Speedway.
And one of those new winners in the studio now with you and Tyler Ankrum, and we want to welcome Tyler to NASCAR Coast to Coast. First off, I guess officially congratulate you on the win. A great start to the season for you and your DGR Crosley Racing team.
Yeah, DGR Crosley, they worked super hard all weekend. You know, every single time we go to the racetrack, I'm very proud of how hard DGR Crosley, Seth Smith, and also Tyler Dipple's crew, because a lot of what we do on these race cars is we kind of, we feed off each other, and they work their rear ends off all week. And so, that win was for DGR Crosley. They helped me get me there, and they've helped me come along these first 5 races. So, I think we got a really good shot at Memphis, and I'm just excited to finish the rest of this year.
And I wish you guys could have seen him earlier coming into the studio. I have never seen someone so excited to be here at the Concord location of MRN.
Yeah, I didn't know they hosted the Glass Case of Emotion, and when I heard Ryan Blaney sat in this room, I kind of fangirled out. So it's okay. I'm all good now that the cameras are on and we're actually serious.
And Tyler will join us, well, kind of, exactly. Tyler, you'll join us for the entire 30 minutes here on NASCAR Coast to Coast, so make yourself at home. You mentioned the Memphis race. That is next on the calendar for the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East, coming up on June 2nd. You also mentioned your teammate Tyler Dipple getting a pair of top 5s over the weekend at South Boston, a 5th in race 1, and a 2nd in race 2, just behind Anthony Alfredo. Coming up here on NASCAR Coast to Coast, we talked to the newest winner at Bowman Gray Stadium, Bobby Measmer Jr. He won the second half of a twin bill this past Saturday night at the stadium in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, and he will join us after the break here on NASCAR Coast to Coast.
Whatever you drive, wherever you go, Hercules Tires will get you there, whether you're running on dirt or running a job. Our dependable, high-quality tires are the perfect fit for your needs. For unmatched value, selection, and warranty with industry-leading road hazard protection, there's only one choice: Hercules Tires. To learn more, visit HerculesTire.com or call 800-677-9535. Hercules Tires, right on our strength.
Chris Crockett here with young members of our Toyota racing family.
Hi!
I heard you want to be drivers one day.
Yeah!
Want to be as fast as Hamlin?
Just like him!
Matt, what about you?
No thanks, I'm faster.
Faster than Hamlin?
Hamlin, Busch, Suarez, Jones, even Truex Jr. Did I say something funny?
No.
I can take them any day.
Okay.
Anytime.
Got it, kid.
Any track. Any weather.
Oh boy. NASCAR and Toyota Racing. With a family like this, who knows the places we'll go this season? Learn more at ToyotaRacing.com. Toyota. Let's go places. NASCAR is a registered trademark of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, Inc.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Before Saturday night, there were 134 different modified winners at the famed Bowman Gray Stadium since opening in 1949. The 135th different winner took the checkered flag on Saturday night and joins us now on the guest line, talking, of course, about Bobby Measmer Jr., who secured that first win and holding off Frank Fleming at the finish. Bobby, congratulations, and thanks for joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast.
Yeah, thanks. Pretty awesome night, and thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, you were closer earlier in the evening in a race night that saw double features, finishing second to Jonathan Brown in race number 1. Kind of sum up your evening behind the wheel with a second, and then finally getting that first victory to cap off the evening.
Yeah, something that's kind of unique there at Bowman Gray. They do the twin 25s. It doesn't take very long to run 25 laps around that little track. We qualified 4th, first feature. You start straight up, and outside line went, and I was behind Jonathan there, and took my car a little while to get going, but I was actually, after having 3 or 4 bad weeks, some bad luck, I was pretty happy to finish second. They do what they call a madhouse scramble for the second feature, and he drew a 10 and made me restart 9th after finishing second the first one, and I would have been happy getting a top 5, salvaging a top 5 finish out of the night. But the way things went, I picked off a few spots there right away. Being on the inside got me a few spots, and was settled in there behind Tim Brown. I think I was running 6th, and it's like the floodgates opened up for me. Bert and Jeremy Gershner got together on a caution round like lap 10, and I went high, everybody else went low, and I made my way around the wreck, and I come out sitting second behind Frank there, and worked their way around him after a couple laps, and had I think it was 3 or 4 restarts there at the end. I had to battle through and keep my composure and stay focused and not screw up, and was able to capitalize and get a win starting 9th, which is pretty amazing.
Now, I believe I saw a post on your Facebook. You had a picture of your guys' door and above your window, and you had that winner sticker from Bowman Gray, and you said there's plenty of room for more wins. Obviously, the Madhouse is known for some of the best modified competition down here in the South. How hard is it to win at Bowman Gray Stadium?
That's probably one of the most hard-fought wins that I've had to work for. I mean, I started out in late models, worked my way up through those ranks, and when we moved over to the modifieds, all the names you hear are, Myers and Brown and Fleming, and all those names run at Bowman Gray Stadium every week. And I started out on the tour, right off the bat. I didn't really, the stadium wasn't really my style, I didn't think at the time. And last year we jumped in head first after the tour went away. We jumped in head first there at the stadium, and it worked out to be something that we enjoyed. I can spend some time with my family in the mornings. I can go there and race Saturday night style like I did growing up at Concord Speedway. And it was just a learning curve the first year. I mean, when you walk into the gates there, you're behind the 8 ball as a newcomer to people that's been racing their whole lives there. And, like I say, the Myers and the Browns and the Flemings. And this year, or this winter, this off season, we took everything we learned last year, put it into this new car, which it's bits and pieces of the car from last year, but basically all new chassis. And it's paid off. Obviously we won our first pole 2 weeks ago in the 100-lap race, or for the 100-lap race, but unfortunately had a mechanical failure, and that's kind of been what set us back. The start of the season is just mechanical failures that out of our control, things that we didn't expect to happen, and we just kept digging, kept working, and it paid off this past weekend, getting our first win, and plan to get more, because we know we have a good car. We've had a good car since we've unloaded the first week. Just needed that luck, and it finally came our way this week.
You finished sixth in the final standings last year in your rookie year. You mentioned the Myers brothers. You mentioned Tim Brown and Frank Fleming, staples of that racetrack for the last couple of decades. Do you feel like you've earned their respect here over the course of the last year and 3 weeks now into your second season?
I wouldn't say I've earned every bit of it. I raced with some of the same people there on the tour side as well. So outside of Bowman Gray, I think I have that respect. Now there at the stadium, I'm still kind of considered a new kid on the block, and I know a lot of times that's tough to take whenever somebody comes in. And I would say I don't know how long it took other drivers their first year, if they won a race in the first year or not. But I sat down, and it's basically 21 weekends, 21 races that I've ran there, counting last season, and I got my first win. I think that's a pretty good accomplishment for us and for my team. So I think the respect side from the other competitors, it'll come with time. I think they know they got somebody that's new, that's a really good car that they're gonna have to look for week in and week out.
Now, you mentioned, like you said, you are a newcomer somewhat here at Bowman Gray Stadium, but I want to take a second to step away from the actual on-track activity. Being somewhat of a newcomer to this racetrack, talk to me a little bit about the vibe at Bowman Gray Stadium and, how it gets its name of the Madhouse.
Bowman Gray Stadium, I done a little tidbit last year, being my first year there. It's a big part of history. It's a big deal. There's not many places you can go on a Saturday night and race in front of 10, 12,000 people, and it's crazy to be able to pull out on pit road, pull out on the racetrack, and all you see is people up in the grandstands, and families that have been there for decades. Not obviously the competitors, but as well families in the stands and fans. So it's hard to explain until you actually get in there and you do it. I'd went to Bowman Gray probably a handful of times as a race fan to watch before I actually started racing there. It's a heck of an experience. The environment there is it's unlike any other environment at a racetrack that I've experienced on at least a Saturday night level. It's a madhouse. Exactly what is how it's got its nickname. Because you're going to see cars hitting each other and bumping and banging, and you may see a fight or two. You may see a fight or two in the stands amongst fans because there's different fan sections. It's crazy.
And they do it every Saturday night throughout the summer months. 18,000 plus people pack that racetrack, a little quarter mile around a football field that has some of the best modified racing around. Let's talk about what you do away from the racetrack when you're not racing on Saturday nights at Bowman Gray Stadium, because you're involved with the sport at a higher level with a very successful race team right now that's been in the spotlight at the Cup level.
Yeah, I work my day job here at Stewart Haas Racing. Been an employee with Haas actually for 16 years, right out of high school, and couldn't ask for a better place to work. Obviously they support our a lot of the Saturday night racers, the guys. That's the kind of people they want working here, and actually Saturday night was a win-win for me. I won my first race at the stadium, and Kevin turned around an hour or so later and won at Kansas, and it's cool. Stewart Haas has been a top of the game here lately, and hopefully some of that vibe will continue to rub off on me.
Now, we know you're planning to run here at Bowman Gray Stadium the rest of the season, but overall, what does your season look like, maybe away from Bowman Gray Stadium?
Obviously we'll finish out the season at Bowman Gray. We got a handful of tour events we're going to run, and Phil Stefanelli's PSR Racing Products car. I know May 25th I'll be at Concord Speedway. So anybody that's in town for the Coca-Cola 600 weekend, they can make a short drive down to Concord Speedway and see some tour type modifieds along with some super late models. But we'll have the North-South Shootout again later on in the end of the year. Just pick and choose on the tour stuff. But we kind of, I got two kids that are playing softball and baseball, so I enjoy to go see their games in the mornings on Saturday mornings, and I can still go race Saturday night and then make it up there later on in the afternoon to watch Dad. And it's a good deal with Bowman Gray, the way the schedule's set up.
Absolutely, and that schedule continues this Saturday night. Bobby, congratulations on the win. Your first, I'm sure, of many at the stadium, and best of luck to you the rest of this 2018 season.
Yes, thanks. And I want to real quick, thank everybody that's made this season possible so far. Phil Stefanelli, PSR Products, Lead 2 Real Estate, Frank Bolter. He's helped me out the last few years and been a staple on our car, and Kevin Hughes Motorsports, and Race Electronics. So, if it wasn't for all my partners that helped me get to the track each and every week, I wouldn't be on the show here today. And I thank y'all as well for having me on.
All right, there you have it. It takes a lot of folks to get to the racetrack every Saturday night. Bobby Measmer Jr., the latest winner, the 135th different modified winner at Bowman Gray Stadium. Coming up, our conversation with NASCAR K&N Pro Series East first-time winner Tyler Ankrum continues here on NASCAR Coast to Coast.
Kyle Petty here. My friends at Click & Close, the official mortgage provider of NASCAR, have stepped up this year to support Victory Junction through the fastest lap of the race program on NASCAR radio. So join our team. Go to clickandclose.com/NASCAR today to donate $43 or more and help us give the gift of camp to children with serious medical conditions. That's clickandclose.com/NASCAR, and just look for the Victory Junction logo. Thanks to Click & Close and NASCAR Radio for their support this season.
Grunt Style. The American fighting spirit is in everything we make. We are 500 patriots and veterans strong, bringing clothing manufacturing back to the United States of America. Always moving forward, never retreating, never giving up. We are Grunt Style, and this we'll defend. Get yours at gruntstyle.com.
This is NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. Here are Kyle Rickey and Hannah Newhouse.
Back here on NASCAR Coast to Coast, brought to you by Hercules Tire. Ride on our strength. Kyle Rickey, Hannah Newhouse, and Tyler Ankrum, also in our Concord, North Carolina studios. Tyler, you've been there now for about 25 minutes in studio. Your thoughts on what you've been able to see kind of from behind the scenes?
Well, first off, when I walked right through the door, I was told, hey, Tyler, you're going to be on a radio show today. So I wasn't expecting all these cameras. I actually got very nervous. Hannah walked me in. I said, Hannah, why are there cameras here? And I pretty much walked in my street clothes. I'm actually MRN. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'm sorry. But I didn't mean to touch my shirt. The mic's right somewhere right here. But MRN gave me this shirt. It's actually a really comfortable shirt. It fits me well. So thank you, MRN and Hercules Tires, for letting me come on the show. And I'm actually been really enjoying. Did I hear a guitar strum in the background? But I'm having a really fun time here, and it's been interesting because you got all the decorations and all the lights, and it's really my first step into something bigger and newer.
And it's been interesting, needless to say. Like I said, he has been very, very excited to be on this show. So I wouldn't be surprised to hopefully, if we have you back in the studio later in the year, get another win under your belt. But this weekend, definitely a good weekend for you and DGR. Another win for the DGR Crosley Pits. What was it like to capture that first win in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East?
Honestly, it was tough for me because, getting that first win in the K&N Series, it was exciting, but, it was that first race, and I got out of the car, and I was already talking to Seth about the second race. You know, I was like, dude, we can go out and we can win this second one. You know, has anybody else in the K&N series ever win both of the twins? I don't think so. So I think
just last week at Cody Vanderwall.
Yeah, last weekend Cody Vanderwall won both races out at Tucson Speedway.
Kind of jealous of that guy now. I'm gonna have to meet him one day. But you know, obviously we had a really fast race car. You know, that first race we dominated, led the most amount of laps. And that second race we had by far the fastest car again. And just like Langley, came over straight away back. 20 laps to go, passed for the lead, and got dumped going to the next corner. So you know, it's all part of racing. You know, we're all out there trying to go out and win. You know, no fault to Chase Cabre. You know, I probably would have done the same thing in his position too. So, you know, I had a lot of fun that weekend. It was hot. It was really hot. It was 92 degrees. This is really the first weekend where it was really hot. So I'm going to have to start hydrating a little bit more going into these next races, especially Memphis. I'm also racing the Super Late Model U.S. National Short Track Finals. So I'm really excited to go there as well. And I don't know if am I acting too excited to be on this show, because I'm a little nervous.
It's all good. I want to talk about your season. 5 starts in your career in the NASCAR K&N Pro Series East, 5 top 5 finishes. What do you attribute your early success to? Obviously, a new partnership with DGR Crosley and you guys this year in the series.
Really, it's just the guys working on the race car. You know, I shouldn't say I haven't had to really do anything special, but they work so hard to get me out on the racetrack, in the race shop, at the racetrack. They sit down, they watch film with me. When I have a question, they answer it. There's no beating around the bush, or they can't give me a straight answer. You know, they work so hard to give me what I want, where I really wouldn't want to be anywhere else when it came to a K&N car. And obviously now they have ARCA and trucks, so they're really busy over there. So there's a lot of open doors to go to the next other two series at that race shop. So I mean, just all the different strings and all the different information at DGR Crosley is amazing. And not only that, you have David Gill in there, who was once a Cup driver. So to have him there, who has done it all, literally, you know, he's at every single race I've gone to, and he's over there in the next pit stall talking to Tyler or talking to Todd, and I just got to ask him, you know, hey, what do I do here? Like when I went to Bristol for the first time with the K&N car, I had been there once in a super late model, but they're 2 completely different cars, as we know, and I think, I don't know how many questions I asked, but I feel like I bothered him after a while. So, and he helped me a lot to get me a 4th place finish there. New Smyrna, Langley, you know, even South Boston, you know, there's just so much information there, because he's done late models, K&N, ASA, trucks, Nationwide, Cup. I mean, it is probably the largest asset you can have at DGR Crosley. Not a lot of teams have that. So to have that in my corner boosts me and gives me a lot of confidence.
Now, DGR has obviously been very successful this year, captured both the wins at New Smyrna, Langley. You guys have been pretty much unbeatable for the season, but it's been the Tyler and Tyler show, which is very confusing, might I say, at the racetrack. Tyler Dipple, who also won at South Boston Speedway, Langley Speedway. Do you think he's going to be your probably biggest competition here for this championship in the K&N Pro Series East?
I think so. I think I knew that when we went to Langley and how strong he was. You know, he's been racing this K&N car for 2-3 years now, and I'm still a rookie. So, you know, he's almost like Todd. You know, they've been doing it for a while. I can ask him questions. Like, I've never been on a road course before, and he has. So, you know, we've been talking about Memphis, and we've been talking about New Jersey and Watkins Glen and how cool those tracks are. So, not only that, you know, he's there, and we push each other, because we've been really competitive against each other this year, and we're pretty good friends at the race shop, and we bust each other's chops all the time. So we like to joke around and have a good time, and you know, as a friend and competitor, that way you can really push yourself to be better than him, and he does the same thing to you. So, you know, when you're sitting in there in practice and you both get out of the car and you're 1-2 almost every single practice, and almost in qualifying and in the races, you know, you can get out and start making fun of each other and poking at each other and start talking about race cars. And that makes it really easy to be a teammate with someone like Tyler, because he's a little bit of a goofball. You know, I mean, he's really fun to be around. So I'm really excited for this year. You know, at DGR Crosley, you know, they got a lot of good guys working on the race cars, and they obviously got Tyler Dipple, who will probably be my greatest competition, because he's in the same exact car and I am, and he has more experience than I will ever have at these tracks going forward, because all these tracks going forward, they're the big tracks like Iowa, Watkins Glen. He's been there, done that. I haven't. So I'm going to really work hard to try and beat Dipple against him in the championship this year.
Your career started 2013, I believe, at Orange Show Speedway in a quarter midget. At what point of your career, now that spans about 6 years, did you realize this is kind of what you wanted to do for a living?
Honestly, I think it was about a year or two into quarter midget racing. You know, when I first started racing quarter midgets, you know, for me it was just a hobby. You know, it was just something I told the girls at school, and I thought they liked it. And I was just like, all right, we'll just roll with this here. And it wasn't really until my second or third year in the quarter midget racing where I realized I could have a future doing this. And that really made me focus and work a lot harder, because when it was quarter midget racing, it was just me and my dad. So we were growing together in a sense. You know, he was my crew chief and I was his driver. We're crew chief and car owner. So we're growing together and figuring these race cars out at the same time. And from when we started there, you know, when I got out of quarter midget racing, my dad asked me what I wanted to do next. You know, we went to midgets, which was the natural step. You know, a midget is just, you know, a bigger quarter midget, and sprint car is a bigger midget. So they're all similar in the sense. And then I was friends with Todd Gillen because we grew up racing in quarter midgets together. And actually, David and Todd and Michelle, they were at my house in California for a New Year's party. And David asked me, like, hey, Tyler, what do you want to do? And I think I looked at him like he was retarded, because I looked at him and I was like, what do you mean what I want to do? I want to do what you do. I want to become a cup driver one day. He was like, oh, okay. So that really opened the door up for me to jump into a late model stock car. And he was very influential, get me started in late models. And if anybody outside of my family, he's probably believed in me the most. And he's always been an advocate for me, and he's always pushed me. He's always told me I can be something or be somebody one day in a stock car. So he's really been just probably the best instrument of my stock car career, because he got me started in stock cars and he got me started in K&N cars. So life's almost full circle. So I'm super thankful to the Gillen family and DJR Crosley for giving me this opportunity to race K&N full time this year. And I just want to go out and win a championship for them.
Now, away from the racetrack, you seem to be pretty busy. A lot of these young drivers, but 17 years old, you're still in school. You came from school to the studio here today. How are you managing to balance that? I know Harrison Burton does the homeschool thing. Noah Gregson graduated online school, but you go to school every day. So how are you balancing that?
Honestly, I probably don't balance it very well. Racing probably takes up more of my time, and I like it that way, trust me. But I manage, I think, from school to racing. So, you know, I don't know if I should be talking too much about racing. You know, report cards haven't come out yet. So I hope Mom's not listening either. So I've had a lot of fun. I go to Lake Norman High School here in Mooresville, North Carolina. It's a great school. You know, I've learned a lot. They offer a lot there. I've taken a bunch of engineering, marketing, sports marketing classes there, and you know, they offer a lot. So I have a fun time going there. It's actually funny because my school is like 5 minutes away from the race shop and 10 minutes away from home. So school, race shop, home. So it's really nice. It's really convenient. I take 2 out of my 4 classes online. So that's probably one of the biggest reasons why I balance my classes out from school and racing.
From winning a NASCAR K&N Pro Series East race to worrying about report cards.
Yeah.
Tyler Ankrum joining us here on NASCAR Coast to Coast. Tyler, hope you enjoyed your time here at the Motor Racing Network and in our studio, and hopefully you can join us more often. I
plan to do that, and hopefully after Memphis I'll be back in here and a lot more down the road. So I've really enjoyed myself. Thank you to MRN, you guys, and to having me in here, and I just can't wait to come back. All right, well, thanks for joining us. Tyler Ankrum talking about Memphis, that race coming up in just a couple of weeks. Hannah Newhouse also in the MRN studios. The NASCAR Next list came out this week. Your thoughts on the list that includes Anthony Alfredo, Haley Deegan, Derek Kraus, Chase Purdy, Will Rogers, and a few others.
Yes, it is. There's actually a lot of West Coast representation, which I was really excited to see. That's something that you don't hear a lot when it comes to NASCAR. So you've got, like you said, Riley Herbst, Zane Smith, Haley Deegan, all West Coasters. Will Rogers, who is a K&N East winner, also running this upcoming weekend at Orange County Speedway out in San Bernardino, California. He'll be racing there. It is in this, as well as Tanner Thorson. We've got some dirt presence in the NASCAR next. Ryan Vargas, NASCAR Drive for Diversity, and Chase Purdy. So it'll be a really interesting 9 drivers, all with very bright futures here in NASCAR. And I think it'll be interesting to follow their careers as they continue to excel through ARCA and K&N and up through the Truck Series.
Haley Deegan, a good weekend at Kern County Raceway, finishing 4th and 2nd. Trevor Huddleston winning both of those twin late model features over in California. And then there was some racing at Hickory, North Carolina, Hannah.
Yes, there was. They had twin late model stock races where Justin Carroll showed his dominance. He qualified on the pole and then also captured both the features. Always great to get out to Hickory and see some of that local short track racing.
And some racing this weekend. The NASCAR Wheel and Euro Series back in action in Italy. The NASCAR Pinty Series will open their season at Mosport, and the K&N West Series back in action at Orange Show Speedway in San Bernardino, California. Derek Thorne, the championship point leader in that series. Also, Myrtle Beach back in action this weekend along with Thompson. Riverhead has the Islip 300, and Tucson has Armed Forces Night this Saturday night. That'll do it for this edition of NASCAR Coast to Coast here on the Motor Racing Network. I want to thank Craig Moore and Jennifer Cochran for our guests here today, Bobby Measmer and Tyler Ankrum. I'm Kyle Rickey. She's Hannah Newhouse. See you next week.
NASCAR Coast to Coast has been brought to you by Hercules Tires and by Grunt Style. NASCAR Coast to Coast can be found on demand at MRN.com, iTunes, Google Play, YouTube, and SoundCloud. NASCAR Coast to Coast is a production of the Motor Racing Network. All rights reserved.